Hello. Thought I'd show you some of the animations that I've done for Blobbit Push when we started to redevelop it for touchscreens and like desktop version we was working on. We are obviously picking it up again now, so I thought now's a good time to revisit all the animations. Bit of software we used was Dragon Bones Pro. This piece of software is no longer developed, even though it says copyright 2024. They ain't touched this for ages, and to be honest, I don't think it's ever going to be coming back because the websites are just not really updated, which is a shame because it was pretty good. I mean, we did a little bit of a rummage around different systems before I chose this one. In hindsight, we should have gone for something like Spine, but Spine was quite new back then, and I wasn't quite sure. We did use Spriter for a while, but that had a few issues with crashing, and we had a few different issues where we lost a few bits of data, and it just became a little bit flaky, and so we dropped that. I know they're still developing it, and it's a lovely bit of software, and they probably ironed out a lot of the bugs by now, but found this one, and it kind of ticked all the right boxes for me. So we did all the menu system for this. Mark managed to get it all in, and for a while it worked pretty good. Interface is a little bit clunky. I don't know why. I don't know what they're using to develop this. I don't know if it's some kind of weird Flash version or something. I don't know what they're doing, but it does seem a little bit clunky at times. But it does the job. So one of the things I had to pick up was how to actually get the whole thing working, because I'd not used this sort of software before. I mean, look at that. I mean, here we go. Right. So one of the first things I did in it was the moon, Rydak 12, which is the moon that the Blobbit ends up, Blaryl Blobbit, he crashes his little ship onto here, and that's the whole idea of the game. You've got to kind of find the bits for your ship and then rebuild it and then get off. So first thing I had to do is draw the moon that he lands on, he crashes on. So this is all the better get me words out, all the assets for it, and so there's two sections in Dragon Bones. You've got armatures, which is basically all the different animations you're doing. So these are all like for the front end. We've got like buttons and different bits and pieces, and faders, buttons, awards, areas. And we've also got where is it? Yeah, so we've got all these little bits. So this is the moon, and you can go into your library and you get all the different assets you've brought into it. So once you've created an animation asset, you then go to the animation section. There's another tab here, and that's where you can actually create the different animations you're going to do for it. So like, for instance, I've got an idle loop, which if I play this now, it just does that. I'll zoom out a little bit. So that just does that. It just continually rotates around. We've got Blobbit on there doing these like, I've completed the level and I'm using some Blobbit magic. A couple of babies on there, Blobbit babies. The cow, I just thought it'd be funny to put a cow in. And there's no need for the cow whatsoever. It just appears, and it just seemed like a thing to do. And obviously the crates that when you crash land, all the crates are scattered all over the moon, so you have to go and find all the babies that are in the crates. So yeah, this is pretty much it. It's just your standard kind of animation software. You've got all your keyframes, you've got all your assets down here, and you can change the frames per second, what you're looping. You can do all the animation curves. You've got bones, there's all sorts of stuff. And you just, you can lock it. I mean, one thing is you can lock this to that object, so when this object rotates, these rotate with it, which is fantastic for doing the moon. And so what I've got, so when you spawn the animation, so when you first start the game, the UI comes up and the planet comes up, the moon appears like that, and it starts to rotate. So these frames actually match the actual start of the loop. So Mark plays that and then directly then goes into playing this one when it carries on. And the same with the out's not so much, because we don't know when you can hit the start button, so the out will just spin out and it comes out quite fast. So that does that. That's those ones. If I go back to the armature, we'll show you some of the where are they? Where we go. Ooh, we've got credits. Help was quite good to do, so I double click that. We're in the help menu now. So I wanted to do a guide for how to play the game. Now the great thing about this software is, you can, like any of this sort of software, you can just bring in loads and loads and loads of assets, and it just shows you how you play the game. But you can use actual video game assets themselves. So let's go to the animation section. You can see what I'm talking about. So we've got the idle one, which is just basically like a, just shows you what it's doing. So push crates onto pads. Crates open to release Blobbit babies. Beat the clock. And of course, it fades out and avoid all baddies. Very simple little kind of sort of thing, just a guide, but it kind of works. And again, we've got, because it was a touch screen game, it still will be, when we finish it. I put the touch screen overlay in there as well, so we've got all that in there. And we've got Idle 2, which I don't know what the Idle 2 is. I think that's just a variation of Idle 1, or did I not? No, I didn't do anything with Idle 2. I think it was going to be a variation, which I never got around to doing, because I thought this did the job so well that I thought I'd just leave it, and just leave it as it is, because what's the point in re-engineering something that's already existed? And you've got your selections, so when you select something, the button select 2, that's the close window, spawn left. So I think we've got 2 spawns. I think I did one which is a flat Blobbit hand coming in, pushing it in. I think there's another one where it tilts it. And again, giving Mark the choice, he can randomly pick one of those 2. So every time you go to that, the help screen, you'll get a slight variation each time. So it just breaks up a little bit, really. And again, it's just something nice. And so when I did all these, you can see the guide. I've done a guide which is like the 16:9 portrait aspect. And that's like the guide for the mobile phone versions. Because we're now redoing a game for PC and Steam and basically landscape screens, I'm going to have to go through and create a separate file, which I've got here. I've actually already created the file already, which is a 2024 version of these animations, which will be in a 16:9 aspect, so it's for desktop screens. And I'm going to re-engineer these. I'm not going to redo them. I'm just going to re-engineer them so they always sort of appear in the centre, and we'll have some other gubbins around. So although it'll be the same sort of thing, I'll just have to change this out so that it's got like a joystick or keys or whatever, and that'll be changed. But that's one of the biggest problems I've come across with this, is I'm going to have to go through and change a lot of these animations so they fit within a 16:9 screen ratio. Not too much of a big deal, but it just means a couple of hours just going through and repositioning stuff and making sure everything sits as it should. When you do go to the start the game, I tell you what, while I'm jumping about, I've got the logo. I'll show you the logo. This is really cool. One of the things when I got into doing the animations, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could actually animate the logo? So when you start the game, it boots up. Rather than just having the logo fade in, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we actually had the logo construct itself? So what first thing was, like, you can fade it in from the middle, so it'll just come in. Let me zoom in properly. So that will come in like that. Let me go up a bit. Yeah, go up a bit like that. Yeah, so you can fade in, and then it will sit and do the idle, which will be it just kind of does this kind of like scaling up and down slowly, just so there's a little bit of movement going on, because rather than just being static, it's nice to have something just animating. I think that's really down to my love of the arcades, where you had the older track sequences, and I've always thought it was nice when you've got a game screen that there's just something going on, even if it's just like a little sparkle or a sprite moving around. So that's just basically what that is, really, just so it's kind of like doing something. And then the other one is falling down from the top, kind of goes blonk blonk blonk. And I don't know if we can have some sound effects on these when I finish them, but again, I've got to reposition these so that it's designed for a widescreen display rather than this portrait one. I'll probably scale these a bit differently, work out what we're having down there, which is going to be pressed to start. And then you've got the idle here, which is that one, and then we've got a sliding, which is my favourite. This is my favourite one, where it constructs the logo by pushing it in, and then it will go to the idle. So it drops in, and then it pushes it in, and then you go to idle, so it will flip to that one. And then you've got static, which just does nothing. It just sits there. That was the original one I set up when you did the fading animations. And then I thought, well, let's do something a bit different and just take that. So I took that one, and then I kind of scaled it up a bit and did this kind of like pulsey thing going on. So what I was going to say is, there's the levels the levels. There's the level thumb. These are the level thumbnails. So there is a screen. I don't know if I've got the screen or that one. Go back to this one. It's been a while since I've done all these. Let's see, which one was it? Buttons, fader, icons, poop. I don't know what poop is. Tap to play, stars, background, panels. These are just like little panels that we generated to that Mark can overlay text in and animation. So that's the pause menu. So he pulls the game, and again, you know, we've got like the spawn left, spawn right, which, you know, comes in, and it's, I mean, the frame rate on this is a bit ropey because it's playing in this sequence, but when it's played in actually on the device, it's a bit smoother. And then you've got the same, you know, pushing in at an angle, which I think works so much better. And the same from the right. And you've got Blobbit's head in the background just peeking through. Again, it just comes in, goes boink, and it all comes up. I get carried away with all this sort of stuff. I love all this this kind of like fading and scaling stuff. It's just great. And the thing is, I mean, years ago you'd have had to, you know, ask the programmer to code all this stuff up, and it would have been a nightmare. I mean, I know UI stuff for programming is a nightmare. You know, it's just trying to get all these buttons working and then integrating it with what the functions are. It takes forever. So doing it like this, just using animation files, I mean, in you know, current days, it's so much easier. And it just means as an artist you can just go to town and just do loads of stuff and make it look really, really good, you know. And when you couple that with like fades and like particle effects and all that sort of stuff, you can really just let your imagination run wild. And again, when you exit, we've got the exit fading out there and fading that to the right, and the idle just sits there and does nothing really. I don't think there's anything happening on the idle. I don't know if I did any. No. And you've got your selects. So yeah. So that's the pause menu. Now I'm trying to find, I don't know where I did it. It's where is it? Got some icons there. There's nothing really exciting about icons really, is there? Moon, panel, help panel, level. Oh, these are the when you complete a level. So depending on how well you do, you get stars awarded. So again, we got the spawn left and spawn right. That same old panel there. And you get the stars awarded depending on what you've collected and how well you've done. So if you've got, like, you know, 1 star, you get, you know, you've collected all the babies. So you've collected all the babies, you get 1 star. So if you get 2 stars, where is it? I mean, 2-star spawn. I mean, you got the babies and you completed it within the time limit. So you get 2 stars awarded, and you get 3 stars. Where is it now? Spawn. Let's do that one. Yeah, babies, time, and you basically get all the moves. You do it within a certain number of moves, because it is like a soccer band style game. So the more moves you take up, you know, the less points you get, and you don't get your stars. That's one of the things we worked out in the gameplay, was trying to work out what the optimum moves are, because in some of the levels you're trying to avoid baddies, so we have to kind of function in some way of or factor in some way of making it so that, you know, you don't get penalised too much for trying to avoid being chased down, you know, down the level with like a baddie chasing you. So it's quite slack in some of the levels where the moves are quite sort of forgiving. But yeah, I mean, that's that. And then you've got the other spawn, you can select them, so you've got all the different select buttons, and I mean, each one with the different stars had to be generated so that it would have all the functionality. And then you got the exits and then the idles, which just sit there. And these little dots, I don't know if you can see them, these little dots here, these are so that Mark knows where the placement of things are. So I've put these little dots in, and then he can place things in, so like text and whatever if he needs to, and that's it. But the thing I was going to show you, where is it now? I keep forgetting. I've not been on this file for a long time. Panel help, level complete, level complete old, yeah, the moon logo. I think the level screen is actually Mark creates that. But anyway, what we've got, when you're on the menu, each area will have like a theme. So on this one, like this, see the scaling's gone off. This is supposed to sit in there. I might just show you on this one. But the idea being that, let me have a look. Where is it? Is it? Yeah. Let me go to the other one because that one's the scale. This is obviously something that I've worked on. Here, this one looks better. So each level is themed. So when that comes in, and then it just shows you this kind of like a preview of the level. So these are the idle animals, and I just had to cut these out. It's like it's being a holographic display of that, and I was trying to create an effect where, you know, you kind of get this. It's like it's being projected, and it needs to be a little bit sort of faded out. I haven't really finished a lot of these ones. This one is where you haven't actually achieved that level yet. So the idea is when you do the level select, you get a lot of these appearing, and they're like green where they've not been selected. You can't select them yet, and the idea being that, you know, once you've completed the first level, then you unlock the next levels, and then you can then go on and to play the rest of the game. And each time you unlock a set of levels, the world is then, you know how it works. It gets displayed, and it gets to show how it should be. Right, anyway, where's that gone now? Spawn, right, select lock. Yeah, so that happens if you try and select it, you can't, and it just shows that you can't select it. This one is where you have selected it, and that's that. And I think I'll show you one of the other ones. So I did. These are all new growth. I think some of these haven't been updated because I don't know what's happened with the scale. I think I've just brought them in, but I haven't actually scaled them down yet. So really that should be area 1 image. Yeah, that should be scaled down a bit. So I don't know what's going on there. I'll do that when I come to do it. And then you've got right, what else we've got? Area 4, which isn't. See, that was correct, but the graphics are old. They're the old graphics for that one. Same old thing. You're sitting there. It's got idle. Again, all this stuff is supposed to be faded out, and it's not really working properly. But the idea is you get this screen with all those on it. The fader, I don't know what a fader is. Buttons. Credits was one I was working on. Again, this one's probably going to be a bit strange. The cow poops out Mark and me. There's Mark. It doesn't finish that one. I think it's this one, the idle 3. Yeah, I was trying to work on an idea that the cow poops out these kind of weird inverted eggs. Don't ask me why. There's Mark, and I think I didn't finish putting me in. I think I'm coming next. There we go. And then goes to the other side, and he poops me out. But I didn't finish that one. That should stay on the screen longer. And it's just stupid, isn't it? So yeah, so these were all done. I've just got to finish those ones there. Area button. These are just your left right buttons. Area background. Oh yeah, this is it. This is the one. So this is the actual level. The level select screen. So basically the world select screen. And the idea is you select which world you want to play on, and then you click it, and then it gives you a list of all the levels within that one. So if I go to Area 1 idle, you should see that, and then that will play. That'll just play it. So where's that other one gone? Area 2 idle. Yeah, a lot of these don't really do a lot by the looks of it. I don't know. That's the spawning. So they just scroll in and scroll out. Yeah. That's it. What's this one? Yeah, these don't do anything. I don't think I finished these. I think these were what I was working on before we left it. I've started working on these. I think it was made to do with these animation placements. I think they come in and Mark then plays the other animation I just showed you. But yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of work's been gone into the game, and it's getting there. You know, there's a lot there to be still done on it. There's a lot of work that's still got to be done on it. We've done quite a bit, but you know, for what we achieved, I think it's looking pretty good. I'm really pleased with the progress we made with it, and it's just a case of trying to finish it. This is the background that we use for the main menu, just basically a star field. So if I do the idle loop, you'll just see, it's just, I wanted it so that all the stars just sparkled at random, and there's just loads of little stars I put in, and you know, and then on top of that you'll have like the load will appear, and you know, like press start to continue and press start to start, and you know, credits and options and all that sort of stuff. So this is just that background, and I think it just zooms and fades out, and when you spawn it does the opposite, it comes in. Yeah, so that effectively, my friends, is the Blobbit UI animations, which are probably, I don't know how long how much is left to do on it. I'd probably say we're about 75% through, and we've probably got another few to add into it. I've got to rescale them all, so I've got to make sure they're on a 16:9 screen. God, there's loads to do really now. It's all little bits and pieces, but yeah, I mean, it gives you an idea that it's not just a few screenshots and a couple of like phone videos that are out there. There is actually a lot of stuff that's been done on the game, and we just got to basically find the time to finish it. I don't know whether we're going to do a Kickstarter to finish it. I mean, perhaps if you think that's a good idea, you know, leave me a comment on here. I don't know whether we'll do like, you know, try and finish it and then do a Kickstarter to get it released, or we'll just try and get it finished and then just put it out on Steam. I don't know what we're doing yet. We've got to have a talk about it. You know, I know we've got to get it finished because it's just one of these projects that's been put on the back shelf, and with, you know, work commitments, life commitments, it's just one of these projects that neither one of us has had time to really devote quality time to. You know, we've both delved into it over the years and got a bit here and a bit there, but it'd just be nice to get the thing finished, you know. And because the thing is, there was lots of other Blobbit games we had planned, and I'd still like to do them. You know, we've got Blobbit Push, which is this one. There was also Blobbit Dash, which was the precursor to this, which I'm not sure, you know, as a game on its own, it's quite a small, simple game. But I'm actually thinking maybe it would make a good kind of like in-between game on this one. So you know, every time you complete 5 levels, you get a bonus round of, say, Blobbit Dash, and you can go and pick up a few extra points and stuff, which would probably fit into this really, really well. So that's an option I'm going to talk to Mark about. He hasn't got a clue I've even thought of that. So, but if he sees this video, he will now. And then there's another game we was going to do, which was Blobbit Drops, which is a puzzle-y sort of game. And again, I did some graphics for that. I'll overlay that on this video, and you can see a couple of the earlier graphics I did for that, including the logo. And that's another one I'd like to do. But you've got, I mean, I've designed about 5 Blobbit games. I've got documents on here, and I've probably got about a dozen other ideas for Blobbit games under the Blobbit umbrella, you know. So I'd be Blobbit this, Blobbit that, and there's quite a few different ones we'd want to do, but it's just comes down to time and money, really. I mean, developing games is such a, you know, a full-on process. It's not something you just knock up in half an hour. It's quite intense. So if you haven't got the quality time to devote to it, you get a situation like we're in now with Blobbit Push, where you're desperate to get things done on it, but you just don't have that time to spend developing it properly, you know, or giving it the actual love it needs and deserves. And you know, when you've got paid projects coming in, and you've got, like, you know, life, you know, it all kind of takes precedence over your time than working on a project which is on the back burner. But, you know, having said that, we'll get there in the end, and I think we're making movements now to trying to get this thing finished. So I thought the first thing to do is put some stuff out there, people see the project, and I thought I'd do this little video. You can see the game, and or see some of the animations to see what it's actually going to be like. And some of these graphics on here will be updated. I mean, I will update some of them for the new animations for the landscape aspect, and we'll get them updated, and just make it look really good. Anyway, so I think that's about it for today's little video rant. I'm talking on again as I normally do. Thanks for watching, and there is a Blobbit Facebook page. We didn't bother setting up. We did have a website for a while, but it just seemed a bit pointless keeping it maintained when you've got a Facebook page. So if you look at my blog page, I've actually set up a blog page on stucambridge.com, which will have all, you know, I'm going to put little bits on here, which is this video will be on there as well, and then there'll be links to the Facebook page where it'll be mirrored from the blog, and try and get both of them in sync so that information appearing on one will also appear on the other one, and that's probably the best way to keep track of what's going on with Blobbit. Anyway, until next time, see you soon, bye.